Hello and welcome everyone to my first ever video, 100 Days in Hardcore Minecraft. I'm sure most of you guys know what hardcore is, but for those who don't, it means that if I die, then it's game over. I won't be able to respawn because the world gets deleted right after. But anyways guys, I would appreciate it if you guys could drop a like, comment, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. It's free and you can always change your mind. Thanks guys, and enjoy the video. Alright, so on day 1, after admiring the beautiful view, I ran up to a tree and started punching it down for some wood, because without wood, there's not a whole lot you can really do. Not too far from the tree, I found a donkey and I tried sitting on it, but it didn't like that so much, so it shook me off, and right after, the baby told me off. A bit rude, don't you think? I turned my wood into wooden planks, and then those planks into a crafting table. The first thing I made was a wooden sword, and with that sword I went around killing any animals that I found, because if I'm gonna survive all 100 days, then I'm gonna need some food. It's time for an upgrade, so I mined some cobblestone and made a stone pickaxe. After finishing mining all of the coal, I wandered around and stumbled upon a village. A truly beautiful sight to see. When I arrived at the village, I started taking everything, from beds to food and even things inside the chests. The sun was about to set and it was going to get really dark soon, so I built a little house to keep myself safe in. It's gonna be a temporary home, so I didn't really care about the looks too much. I then placed down my bed and slept until morning. Alright, so on day 2, I wanted to finish my house, so I mined a lot of wood. I also placed some sugarcane alongside the lake just in case if I ever do need paper or sugar. It was getting dark again, so I hurried back home and finished my house. After replacing the sand floor with wood, I then went to sleep. On day 3, I started making my mine shaft. Afterwards, I tried searching for some animals to start breeding them for food, but I couldn't find any, so I had to settle for seeds. I tried making a farm at night, but there were so many monsters attacking me, so I had to sleep first. On day 4, I finished making the farm. And then I went back to mining. After I was done mining, I had a good amount of iron, so I made a full set of iron armor. I also made a shield, which is probably the most important item since it can block almost all damage. I placed torches all around my house because I don't want any monsters spawning near me, especially creepers. On day 5, I used the stone cutter to turn my cobblestone into stairs, and then I put them into my mine shaft, which will make it a lot easier to run up and down on it. For the rest of day 5, I did more mining because, well, there's nothing else to do. On day 6, I noticed some of my crops have grown, so I decided to harvest them. And then I went back down to do some more mining, and eventually, I found diamonds. I built a floor beneath it because I did not want these diamonds to fall in the lava. After mining it all, I ended up getting 8 diamonds, which is a pretty good amount. With the diamonds, I made a diamond pickaxe to be able to mine obsidian. While I was wandering around, I noticed a broken down nether portal in the water, and next to it was a chest that had an enchanted golden apple, some armor, and obsidian. I started mining what was left of the nether portal to be able to make my own near my house. I found some chickens along the way, so I decided to bring them back home and start breeding them for food. While I was walking home, I got ambushed by some skeletons that almost killed me. If it weren't for the shield, I probably would have died. On day 7, I finally made it back home, and then I trapped the chickens inside a pen. I then fed them some seeds so that they could start breeding. Is it wrong watching animals make love? With the obsidian that I mined earlier, I started to make my nether portal, but I was missing one piece, so I had to go back down and mine one more. I finished making the nether portal and then I added some crying obsidian just to make it look a bit fancier. At night, I killed some endermen for ender pearls because I will be needing those later on. I expanded my farm because I was running low on food. I also started making a stone pathway, but I got interrupted by some phantoms. These guys were really annoying to deal with because every time I hit them, they would just fly up in the sky. But after a while, I was finally able to kill them all. Alright, from days 8 to 13, I started building my house because my shack was getting a little bit too cramped. On day 14, I noticed a bunny just staring right into my soul. Anyways, after that awkward moment, I went back down my mine shaft and I actually found some diamonds, so I was pretty happy about that. Sometimes there are diamonds that are hiding, so make sure to mine around it. My sugarcane farm was looking really juicy, so I decided to harvest them. On day 15, I went to my shack, but a zombie was in there and it gave me quite a scare. I pretty much continued working on my house for the remainder of day 15, finishing the floor and also crafting an enchantment table to start enchanting my armor and tools. I also made a massive chest room. On day 16, I found some sheep, so I brought them back home and built another pen for them, with a grass block for the sheep to eat to regrow their wool. From days 17 to 20, I went exploring and found a shipwreck that had some carrots and potatoes. The main reason why I was exploring was to find some cows and bring them back home to breed for leather, to be able to make bookcases for higher enchantment levels. On day 21, I finally found some cows. It felt like it took forever, but the trip back home felt even longer. It literally took me a whole day to lure these guys back home. After bringing them back home, I used some wheat to start breeding them. From days 22 to 24, I pretty much spent the time finishing up my house. After I was done, I felt pretty good about myself because I'd never really built things this nice before. I was running low on food, so I decided to burn some chickens. On day 25, I made a potato and carrot farm. At night, I did some fishing by the lake for some fish. On day 26, I used the fish to tame a cat. If you guys didn't know, cats actually scare off creepers, so having one is really good. While trying to bring it back home, I did something that made my heart drop. I completely forgot about the ravine that was right behind my house. I honestly thought this run was over, but thank God, I survived. After getting back up, I fed my animals with some food. My farm was getting a bit too overpopulated, so I decided to do a killing spree later on. I ran out of wood, so I chopped down some trees from my tree farm. At night, I decided to explore the nether. Upon arriving at the nether, I was surrounded by a lot of magma slimes. From days 27 to 33, I explored the nether carefully, making sure there were no monsters near me to knock me off while I built the bridge. But building bridges across a lake of lava is just the most anxiety you could ever get. A bit later on, I heard this very creepy sound. Some ghasts appeared and shot fireballs at me, and looking down on the ground, I made some of the staircase out of netherrack, so it does break when a fireball hits it, and I'm glad I wasn't near that thing. I found some bones sticking out of the ground from a dead creature, so I decided to mine it, and I didn't know that you can turn them into bone meal, so that was pretty neat. I wanted to mine some gold, and after I did, the piglins started to attack me, but thankfully I blocked it off so they couldn't. So the main reason why I chose to go to the nether was to find a fortress to kill some blaze for their blaze rods, and then use those blaze rods to make some Eye of Ender to track down where the end portal was. But I couldn't find it, so I just went back home. On day 34, I decorated my house with some paintings. I had a lot of enchantment levels, so I decided to use some on my armor. I know it's iron armor, but still, anything helps. I restocked on food and got ready to go back into the nether. I spent days 35 to 36 searching for the fortress, but it was nowhere to be found. Instead, I found a forest filled with endermen. I walked a bit further and discovered a castle populated with piglins. I had to be careful of the ones that held an axe because those are considered brutes, and they do the most damage. They will also attack you regardless of whether or not you wear gold. I blocked myself off, making sure that no piglins can get inside, and then I started stealing items inside their chests. I was able to trap one of the piglins, and then I started giving it some gold. I kept giving it gold until it gave me some ender pearls. After I was done trading with it, I found another chest nearby. And then after getting to it, a ghast shot a fireball at me, but I didn't even hear it, so it gave me a mini heart attack. After opening the chest, I just found some more gold. On day 37, I found the nether fortress. I had to be careful, making sure there were no wither skeletons around and also blaze. I went inside the nether fortress and found some nether warts, and I collected them to make potions later on. There were also some chests around me, and they contained some pretty good loot. After finding the blaze spawner, I killed a lot of blaze until I got the amount I needed. After I had enough, I marked down the location of where the blaze spawner is, so I wouldn't forget if I ever came back. While I was making my way back home, I realized that I didn't really mark my coordinates at the nether portal, so I was pretty much lost. It took me from day 38 to 45 to finally find my way back home. I was actually so relieved because I thought, it was over. I couldn't find my way back home and I was gonna run out of food, so. On days 46 to 48, I learned my lesson, so I made a board with all the coordinates on it. I know I put Y, but it's meant to be Z. I also made a map as well. With the saddle I found in the nether fortress, I used it on a horse to tame it. It took me a couple tries, but in the end, I was finally able to. After taming it, I placed my diamond horse armor on it to make it look like a true noble steed. I made my map bigger and then I placed it on an item frame. I had some diamonds that I never really got to use, so I decided to start making some diamond armor pieces. I wasn't gonna wear it just yet because I wanted to make the full set first and then start enchanting it. From days 49 to 54, I kept mining until I found the remaining diamonds for my helmet. After mining the diamond, it revealed a mine shaft. I explored the mine shaft and found a chest with a name tag in it, which I will be using in the end. When I got back home, I finished making my diamond helmet. On day 55, I went ham using my diamond pickaxe, trying to find some netherite. It seemed I mined well over 1,000 netherracks until I was finally able to find one netherite. I guess it is fair though because these ore make the strongest armor and tools in the game. On day 56, I actually built a monster spawner near my house. The reason why? Because I really wanted to start enchanting my diamond armor. To complete the monster spawner, I traveled really far away to a jungle to get some bamboo. These bamboo will be used as scaffolding to go all the way up into the sky. I planted some bamboo near my house because I didn't want to run out of them, and then I used the remainder to build the scaffolds. Doing this will make sure that monsters will spawn inside the monster spawner instead of on the ground. Now, all I have to do is wait for about 5 minutes and then I go down to kill the monsters. From days 58 to 63, I pretty much kept repeating the same process over and over again until I was able to finally enchant everything I needed to. The EXP wasn't that great, but it's a starter. Alright, now here, I did something really dumb again. I was just playing around, just running up the stairs until... yeah, that happened. So, I pretty much almost ended the run again, right there and then. I don't know why I didn't just make railings. I guess I was too lazy to, I don't know. I know I said I'd start enchanting my diamond armor, but the bow seemed, I don't know, a lot better at that time, so that's what I did. And then I took care of some illagers. They dropped a banner that I placed in front of my house to remind myself of how good I am at this game. My crops are fully grown, so I decided to harvest them all. On day 64, I did some more mining because I ran out of diamonds, and I wanted to repair my pickaxe. When I got back up, I used the blaze rod to make some Eye of Ender, and then I hunted down some endermen at night. On day 65, that's when I decided to look for the end portal. I had 8, but 2 of them broke on me, so I was left with only 6, and when I got there, well, it wasn't quite enough to actually start up the portal, so I had to go back home and get some more ender pearls and also visit the nether fortress again to get more blaze rods. I marked down the coordinates and I also built a scaffold tower to make it easier to look for. When I was going back home, I noticed a baby zombie riding a chicken, and yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, so I'd show you guys. On day 66, I used one of my blaze rods to make a brewing stand, to be able to start making some potions. I used a nether wart combined with a glistening melon to make a health potion. I wanted to upgrade my potion of healing into tier 2, so I added in some glowstone dust. I also threw in some gunpowder to make it into a throwable health potion because when I'm in trouble, I need to get healed instantly. For the remainder of day 66, I pretty much just prepared myself for the Ender Dragon fight. I then went to sleep, but then I fell off my bed. On day 67, I made my way to the end portal, and I did some miscalculations, and I was actually missing 3 more Eyes of Ender. So, once again, I had to go back to the fortress, kill some blaze for blaze rods, and then make my way back to the portal. I had everything I needed to kill the Ender Dragon. Food, potions, arrows. It was time. There's no turning back now. Upon arriving, it was dead silent. I made my way onto the island and then started mining up. After reaching the surface, there it was, the Ender Dragon. I quickly started taking out the pillars one by one. While dodging the projectiles, the dragon shot at me. I started having second thoughts. Maybe I wasn't ready for this. What happens if I were to die here? The whole run would be over. Maybe I should have taken the extra time mining netherite to make better armor. These thoughts quickly went away as I was getting mauled by endermen. After losing my water, I started panicking. I ran away. These endermen do so much damage to me, even though I was wearing full diamond armor. I tried building up, but then it went on top of me, so I couldn't. So it left me with no choice but to eat my enchanted golden apple. I kept taking out the pillars, one by one. But then endermen started attacking me for no reason at all. I didn't even look at them. I had some trouble hitting this one pillar because it was just way too tall for me, so I had to move up closer. After breaking this one, there was one more I had to break. For some reason, I just couldn't hit this one, so it left me with no choice but to build up. The Ender Dragon moved to the middle and then dashed right at me. When he got back to the middle, I started building up as fast as I could, hoping that it would fly away somewhere else, but it went straight towards me. I built around me a barrier so that the Ender Dragon won't be able to knock me off. After the last pillar was destroyed, the Ender Dragon could no longer heal, and now it was time to start attacking it. At one point in the fight, I was able to deal so much damage to it because it kept circling around and around every time I damaged it. And there it is. I finally slayed the Ender Dragon. The feeling of this accomplishment was unbelievable. As a reward, I got a ton of experience. With the Ender Dragon being defeated, it was now time to give my victory speech. That's what I'd like to say, but some really creepy music started to play, and yeah, it freaked me out, so I just left. After returning back home from day 69 to 73, I took some leaves off of some trees because I will be needing them to make an Enderman farm for massive experience. With some of the extra leaves that I didn't use for the farm, I used them to decorate the area around my house. I then made my way back to the end, and I built pretty far away from the island. The reason for that being is to make the spawn rate of the Endermen all concentrated into one area. After I was far away from the island, that's when I started building the actual spawner. Now the name tag comes to use. I will be spawning in an Endermite with an Ender Pearl, and then using the name tag on it to make sure that it doesn't despawn. Endermen cannot stand the sight of an Endermite, so that will be the key to this mob farmer. It took me a bit trying to get this thing into this minecart, and it even almost knocked me off of the platform. After a couple more tries, I finally got it in. I then took out the torches, and in a few moments, you will see just how many Endermen will spawn. I knocked out the block beneath the Endermite, and then all of the Endermen started swarming in. This farmer only works well if you have a good enough sword to kill them in a few hits, but I didn't, so it wasn't very effective for me. I had to spend a few enchantment levels upgrading it. On day 74, I captured one of the villagers to turn him into a librarian. With a librarian, there is a chance that he might sell a mending book that can be placed onto any armor or tools. The mending effect is pretty much a self-repair tool, but it just takes in experience rather than actual resources. It was quite some trouble trying to get this guy back home. I tried many different ways, with a boat, with a lead, but those didn't really work out until he moved up by himself, and then I made a pathway straight back to my house. I made a cell for him to keep him trapped in there so he doesn't escape. I know using iron bars may be a bit too cruel, and I could have made it a bit comfier for him, but I realized that this was the wrong villager. So I went back to the village and I found the right one this time. I tried capturing him again, but then illagers started to show up, and the unexpected happened. Yeah, that was very unfortunate. But anyways, after killing the one with the banner, a progress bar showed up on top of my screen, saying that it was a raid, and then all of a sudden, the villagers started ringing the bell. I was kind of freaking out because I didn't know what to do, or what was to come. But then more illagers started to show up, and things got a little bit intense. I thought the iron golem was on my side, but it seemed like it was targeting me, even though I never once smacked it or anything. I figured that if it wasn't on my side, then I'm just gonna kill it. I thought I killed all of the illagers, but the progress bar was still there, and there was no more to be seen. Until the next day when I came back and I noticed a huge bull just rampaging in the village, and the illagers just killing all of the other villagers, and it was so crazy. I didn't know what was going on. I was actually quite scared to go near the village now, so I decided to run away until later on that day to revisit it, hoping that it would be gone. And to my surprise, it was still there, so I just had to man up and try and kill it. I shot my first arrow at it, and then it started bulldozing right towards me. I started getting freaked out, and I started shooting as fast as I could, and yeah, thankfully it wasn't that strong. I was able to safely secure a villager, and then I turned him into a librarian. After some time of re-rolling him, I finally got the mending book. I blocked the doorway off just in case there was ever a raid that happened again, and I didn't want him to die. I needed a lot more paper to trade in for some emeralds for the mending book, so I made another sugarcane farm. I finally had enough, so then I purchased it. I applied it to my sword because I can pretty much have infinite experience now, because every time I hit the Enderman, I'll just repair it back to normal. Now look at this. The experience is just insane. I pretty much kept doing this from days 77 to 82, just smacking away at the Enderman for a lot of experience. I used up almost all of my enchantment levels just making lower tier books so that I could combine them into higher tier books and apply them onto my weapons and tools. I also upgraded my armor to at least protection 3 and above. From days 83 to 86, I ran out of diamonds, so I pretty much went down my mineshaft and found some more. On day 87, my sugarcane farm was fully grown, so I decided to harvest it. And then I traded them in for some more emeralds. At night, I built a watermelon farm, and then the next day, I killed some of my farm animals because, yeah, things were getting a little bit too hectic and my computer was actually lagging. Anyways, I bought another mending book and then I placed it onto my pickaxe. I went back to my Enderman farm and repaired it. On day 89, I saw that there was a floating bedrock structure, and I found out that you could actually throw a ender pearl into it and it would actually teleport you into another place. I teleported somewhere else and I saw this mysterious looking building, and it had a lot of new monsters I've never seen before. There was these monsters that shot at you, and if it hit you, it would make you levitate. And that could be a really bad thing because, well, if it hits you a lot of times, you'll fly up into the sky and then drop down and pretty much just die. After taking whatever was in that building, I then went back home. I used some of the shulker shell to make a shulker box, and it's pretty much a portable chest that will keep the items inside even though you break it, so it's pretty convenient actually. Alright, so from days 91 to 94, I made my way back into the nether and found some more netherite. I wasn't actually too sure on how to make netherite tools and armor until I searched it up on Google, so thank you Google. To upgrade the diamond armor, weapons, tools to netherite, I pretty much just had to put it into a smithing table and only use one netherite ingot. I went back down to get some more netherite and then back to the Enderman farm to repair my netherite pickaxe. After a long day of mining, I was finally able to get all of the netherite pieces for the full armor set. So we're nearing the end of this video, and there was just one more boss that I completely forgot about, and it was the Wither. So from days 96 to 97, I kept killing Wither skeletons until I got the 3 Wither skulls I needed to summon the Wither. After killing the Wither, it dropped the Nether Star, which I used to make a beacon. I upgraded the beacon by placing more iron blocks down. And here it is, guys. Finally made it to day 100 of Minecraft Hardcore. What a journey this has been. There were many times where the video should have ended right there and then when I did all those not so smart things, let's say. But overall, this video was actually really fun to make, and yeah, I enjoyed myself. I never once thought that I would actually be able to beat the game or even make it through all 100 days without dying once, so it's actually a really big achievement for me. But anyways, I just want to say thank you to you guys who are watching this video and joining me on this amazing journey. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks everyone once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.